Hello friends, welcome into the Cowboys Report here on Chat Sports. I am your host, Tom Downey. Go follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney for more Cowboys coverage. And of course, feel free to tweet me any Cowboys questions that you have. Back again today with a rumor show. We'll begin with Dak Prescott, not with Zeke Elliott. There is a Zeke note, but we've had like 5 straight shows with Zeke, and I really felt the need to mix it up this time around. So first up, does Dak look and feel better? I am giving this one 3 stars. It's only 3 and not 4 because it is OTAs and I don't want to overhype more than we truly end up need to do. So for Dak Prescott looking and feeling better, 3 stars on this one here. Dak's comments, I think, are very indicative of how he feels comfortable in the new offense. All says the light clicked on last year, and he's seeing it and knowing it. So yes, he looks good in OTAs, but again, it is only OTAs. Here's the quote from Dak Prescott. I think the biggest takeaways here are that he says he's seeing it and knowing it versus seeing it and thinking it. That is, I think, a noticeable difference there. Basically, he's more confident and he has a lot more chemistry with those receivers, and most importantly, it allows Dak to play faster. He says that happened during that 10-game streak last year where they went on that magical run down the stretch and made the playoffs. In those 10 games, including the playoffs, Dak completed 70% of his passes, 2,700 plus yards, 13 TDs, only 4 interceptions. That's a pretty good yards per game average there. It's obviously great completion percentage. Of course, Dak misses throws. Every player does. But across the board for his NFL career, Dak's accuracy at different depths of field, 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever, he's been above average. Yes, the misses are ugly, but accuracy-wise, Dak actually is a fairly accurate quarterback. You do want to see touchdowns improve, which hopefully comes more in the red zone. And frankly, and I think most of us agree here, I blame more of that on Linehan than I do Dak Prescott. But we're not done with Dak Prescott today. Next up, is Dak working on his mechanics? Well, I'm giving this one 4 stars, and frankly, this shouldn't be a huge surprise to anyone watching the show and who follows the Cowboys, I don't want to say too closely, but hardcore fandom type there for Dak Prescott in terms of his mechanics. Now, he is once again meeting with Tom House, who runs the 3D quarterback, the guru type thing that Dak has done before. And I think most importantly this year, Dak is bringing along Amari Cooper. He's bringing along Randall Cobb. He's bringing Jason Witten, and he's bringing Zeke Elliott to go hang out with his mechanic coach and Tom out there. So for Dak, that's a pretty critical thing on that front, and I think that's a big positive news there for Dak Prescott. This is exactly what you want your quarterback doing. You want him working with mechanic coaches, and most importantly, getting more reps with those players, those receivers that are going to be so impactful for the overall game. So here's my question for you guys. Will Dak have his best season ever in 2019? I know that that's a bit of a high expectation, but it's also not. For a 4th-year quarterback, every year should be better. I think the expectations are that, yes, Dak is better than he was in 2018, in 2017, and maybe even 2016, where we know how great that offensive line was, but still. So let me know what you guys think. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Now, as we mentioned, we do have a Zeke Elliott question and rumor on today's show. Is Zeke a problem for the Cowboys? That was what the Dallas Morning News headline asked this morning from Tim Calishaw. I'm only going to give it the 1 star. I think there are some elements of truth here, but when we're mentioning problems, I don't think Zeke is the same type of problem that like a Greg Hardy was or other on-the-field problems have been. So again, just the 1 star here. We know by now that Zeke had the Vegas incident with the security guard. The security guard wants a good apology, blah, blah, blah. The one thing I agree with the column from Calishaw was that, fair or not, the bar is higher for NFL athletes. The camera's always on Zeke. If he does the littlest thing wrong, like he kind of did out in Vegas, it's probably going to be seen and filmed and recorded. So Zeke has to be on his best behavior at all times. When he's not, he gets in trouble. But is he truly a problem? I don't know if Zeke's latest incident is indicative of a bigger problem for him. Yes, he needs to make better decisions, but I don't think this is the evidence to say, see, Zeke's a bad guy. I don't think that's the case for Zeke and the Cowboys. I don't think that he's truly become a problem, and he's certainly not on the field. And as we all know, there's the level of scale. The better player you are, the more willing the Cowboys and every NFL team is to be, more inclined to give you extra chances. That's why Tyreek Hill has not been cut yet, right? Tyreek Hill is a problem. Zeke's not a problem. But the bigger overarching question here is how much do you trust Zeke and how much do the Cowboys trust Zeke to stay out of trouble? So grade this for me on a scale of 1 to 10. Let me know. 1 being he's not a problem at all. Maybe that's a 0 even. 10 means you want him cut right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let's go to a offseason recap note here. Was signing Randall Cobb the smartest move that the Cowboys made? I'm going to give this one 2 stars, and I think there is a strong argument to be made for Cobb, and most importantly, I have no doubt that adding Randall Cobb was a smart move. He's probably going to replace Cole Beasley as the team's go-to slot receiver. By probably, I mean he will, and he's cheaper than Cole Beasley. It was definitely a good move by the Dallas Cowboys. My question and concern why it's only 2 stars, though, is that the Cowboys had several smart offseason moves. They re-signed DeMarcus Lawrence. They traded for Robert Quinn. They fired Scott Linehan. So when you're trying to find ist as opposed to just smart versus smartest, it's a little dicey and a little tough at times for me to quite identify. But again, I think adding Randall Cobb was a very smart move. I don't know if it was the smartest, though. And I put this up on the YouTube channel today. Make sure you guys are subscribed. What was the Cowboys' smartest offseason move? These were the early poll results. It might change a little bit here as we get further along into the week, but these are the results. I put up, hey, what about firing Linehan and hiring Kellen Moore? That got 47%. Re-signing Tank got 33%. Randall Cobb was 10%. Robert Quinn trade was 8%. Other was 2%, with most of those being Tristan Hill. Now, a couple of interesting comments I saw from this, and again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section, was that Linehan firing, yes, but they weren't sold on Kellen Moore, which I totally get. I think that that's a fair response at this point because we don't know what Kellen Moore is going to be. I'm cautiously optimistic, but we'll wait and see. And many of you said DeMarcus Lawrence did not count because that wasn't smart, that was obvious, which I guess is also fair as well. But those are the poll results there up on the YouTube channel today. All right, next up is Michael Jackson, the Cowboys' new rookie cornerback out of Miami, going to make the roster. I'm going to give this one 3 stars. It really borders on 4. Again, I've made clear in the past, if you've been subscribed to the channel for quite some time, my status, it's you're a lock, you're safe, you're on the bubble, you're doubtful, you ain't making this roster. Michael Jackson falls to me in the safe category. Frankly, I would be very surprised if Michael Jackson was not on this roster come week 1 and beyond. And Chris Richard has offered plenty of praise so far for Jackson. He plays inside and outside, but he's just not quite a roster lock for me. I don't find many 5th-round picks who end up being roster locks, but I do consider Jackson safe, so that's why it's 3, not 4. And you look at what the Cowboys have right now at cornerback, their top 4 are locks. Byron Jones, Cheeto, Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis, those guys aren't getting cut. Now, could there maybe be a trade? Sure, possible, but I would be maybe a little bit on the surprise side there. That leaves maybe 1 spot. And Michael Jackson, no disrespect meant to Donovan Olumba and CJ Goodwin and Chris Westry, but Jackson is the favorite there. At the same time, remember, 5th-round picks, historically speaking, across the NFL, they don't always hit. That's why they're 5th-round picks and not 2nd-round picks. And the Cowboys' recent history, as great as they've been at drafting, haven't done that well in the 5th round. Mike White, of course, is on the roster for now, probably going to be 2 years in 2018. They actually had no 5th-round pick in 17-16. They had one in 2015, Ryan Russell, who was here for 1 year and then kind of flamed out. Devin Street was there for 2 years and 10 career catches. Joseph Randall was going to be good, but he's a nutcase, so that's why he only lasted 3 years. And I will be honest, I love the Danny Cole pick, and he spent 1 year on the practice squad. Didn't turn out like the way I'd hoped it was going to for the Cowboys. My prediction, though, is that Michael Jackson could easily be the best of those last 6 5th-round picks from the 5 you see on your screen. All right, one last rumor here. Again, we'll focus in on the roster side. Is Xavier Su'a-Filo on the roster bubble? 3 stars. This one, I actually agree with it, which is not something I would have said before the draft. But since the draft and the offseason have happened, the Cowboys' offensive line is in a different spot than what it was entering the season. So for Xavier Su'a-Filo, who was serviceable as a spot starter at offensive guard and can be a good backup, well, they drafted Connor McGovern. That puts him in danger just to compete for the starting role, quite frankly. And across the board, really, the Cowboys' offensive line, which it didn't have last year, now has impressive depth. the Cowboys now have a roster battle. And in reality, you're probably only going to carry 9 offensive linemen at most. Maybe it's more like 8 offensive linemen. So you have locks on your roster. Tyron Smith, Sewell, McGovern, Frederick, Zach Martin, La'el Collins. I kind of include Cam Fleming and Joe Looney in that mix. That is already 8 offensive linemen. The Cowboys have carried 8 before, but you can carry 9. 10 would be, frankly, a surprise to me. So, if you're carrying 9, that leaves one of the next 3 offensive linemen available to keep on your roster. Mitch Hyatt, Adam Redmond, Xavier Su'a-Filo, and that doesn't even include Larry Allen, who I think is more of a practice squad, Larry Allen Jr., more of a practice squad guy, Brandon Knight too. So let me know in the comments section. You can only pick one of these offensive linemen to keep. Who are you keeping? Is it Mitch Hyatt, who they paid a pretty hefty signing bonus to sign? Is it Adam Redmond, who was serviceable as a backup interior lineman, much like Joe Looney, although, of course, not as good as Joe Looney? Or is it Xavier Su'a-Filo? I would lean maybe more towards Hyatt or Su'a-Filo. It depends on what you want. Do you want a potential long-term swing tackle, or do you want a quality backup guard right now? If you want the quality backup guard, it's probably Su'a-Filo. If you want the swing tackle, it's Hyatt. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.